Hello and welcome to the Talkin' Ball podcast, a podcast where Jack and I talk ball. I am your co-host today, Keaton, joined by Jack. Jack, how's it going?
Good. Happy to be here and ready to talk some ball.
Well, today we got a few things planned. First off, we've got a quick game, then we go to our player debates, and then we end with our player ranking series that we've been doing the past few episodes. Um, First off, let's hop into our first game. Our first game is called Nikola Topić or Snoop Dogg. In this game, I'll read a list of 15 facts. Each fact applies to either Nikola Topić or Snoop Dogg. And you will just respond with Nikola Topić or Snoop Dogg. And the goal is to get all 15 of these questions correct.
All right. Well, I'm excited, but also don't really know what to think because when I hear those two names, I don't really think they would have anything in common. So I doubt this will be that hard, but you never know. I'm sure
All
you've
right.
got some tricks in your bag. So
I've got some tricks up my sleeve, but first let's start with born in 2005.
born in 2005. Um, I doubt I'm older than Snoop Dogg. So I'm gonna go with Nikola Topić.
That's correct. Number two, real name is Calvin.
That doesn't sound very European. I will also go Snoop Dogg here.
That's also correct. 17 Grammy nominations.
Well, I think I will also go Snoop Dogg on this one. I haven't heard of any Topić tracks coming out, so
That's correct. Is 6'4".
6'4", that's got to be Topić.
Meh. Snoop Dogg.
Oh
Snoop Dogg
wow.
is 6'4". Nikola Topić is 6'6".
Wow. I should have put more thought into that one, probably.
Well, we can go ahead and keep going.
No, let's keep going. Let's keep
Born in Novi Sad, Serbia.
That's Topić.
Born in August.
I don't know their birth months. I'm trying to think if I saw anything about a Topic birthday last month. Mm, I don't think I did. I will go with Snoop Dogg.
It is Nikola Topić.
Ah, I'm
All
struggling.
right. That's all right. Number seven, voiced Maurice in the new Garfield movie.
I wish Topic did that, but I think it's Snoop Dogg.
That's correct. Plays basketball professionally.
Topic.
Yep.
Mhm.
Founder of Doggy Style Records.
Doggy Style Records. I think I'll go with Snoop Dogg there.
That's correct. Loves Air Bud.
Topic. Or Bud.
Yep. Loves Martha Stewart and marijuana.
Snoop Dogg.
Yep. Married to Shante Broadus.
I don't know who that is, but I doubt Topic is married, so I'll go Snoop Dogg.
Correct. He said, "Wherever team I go will be my pleasure."
Topic.
Correct. Has said, "Faux shizzle, my nizzle."
Snoop Dogg.
Correct. Nickname Top Dog.
I could see that going either way, honestly. Um, I'll go with Snoop Dogg just to play it safe.
That is Nikola Topic's nickname. And that rounds
Wow.
us out.
Wow.
12 of 15, not bad.
12 of 15. That's honestly kind of disappointing. But
They're very similar people.
I mean, I guess they have more in common than I thought. So
For those who don't know, this game was a sequel to our Mark Daignault or Kanye West game.
that was a fun one too. Also, surprisingly more difficult than you would think. But I guess they have a little more in common than, or it seems like they would. They're both American, both probably in their 40s, have kids. But Topich and Snoop seem like the most opposite people you could probably think of. But
Yeah. And until the next one.
that was fun. Thanks for making that game up for us. Good way to kick off the episode. Let's move on to our debates. We started debates last episode. We did three. Today we're gonna finish it up with four more. Um, if you missed last episode, what we do here is we spin a wheel and we argue against each other for the player that our wheel landed on. We argue that they are going to be more valuable for the Thunder this season. Um, and then you guys, after hearing our thoughts and arguments, let us know in the comments who you think won each debate and won this segment overall. Um, so while we may not be arguing for what we truly believe, we have to argue the player it lands on. So hopefully we have some more even debates than we did last time. To give us an even number today, I removed Flagler, Topić, and AJ Mitchell from our wheel just because two of those guys are two-way guys, and Topić is not going to be playing this year. So we're left with 8 guys. So 4 debates today. So I'm going to share my screen here for those of you watching on YouTube. You can see the wheel here. So this first spin is going to be Keaton's player that he's going to argue for. So here we go. Keaton will be arguing for Aaron Wiggins.
All right. I like it.
Okay. And then my player, let's see. Big money, big money. Alex Caruso. This will be a fun one. So, Keaton, do you want to start us off, or would you like me to on this
I'll defer to the second half. You got it.
one? All right. So Alex Caruso, he's newly acquired. We got great value from that trade. It seemed like Josh Giddey's trade value was at an all-time low, but we were actually able to get one of the best role players in the league for him. It'll completely change the way we're able to run our offense, especially if he's in the starting unit. Josh Giddey last year kind of fogged things up, and often centers were guarding him, and uh, he was kind of a liability on defense. But replacing him with a guy like Alex Caruso is almost the perfect fit. Um, he's a 3-point threat, shot over 40% last year, will force defenses to stay attached to him. Therefore, the court will be a little more open for spacing and guys to create their shots. Also, he is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, which will be a outstanding upgrade over a guy that was a bit of a liability last year. Caruso has made several all defensive teams over his career, including last year. We now have 3 guys that we can trust to, at least 3 guys that we can trust to guard opponents' teams' star perimeter players, which is always nice to always have someone on the court that can do that. And yeah, Caruso will be invaluable with his 3-point shooting ability and defense and even playmaking ability. And just he's a low volume player, so he won't demand a lot of shots or anything. So I think he is the perfect fit with our team and our star players.
Excellent points. None quite as excellent as the point I'm about to make.
Okay.
Okay. Aaron Wiggins is without a doubt more valuable than Alex Caruso, not just because of his play style, but his contract. Aaron Wiggins was newly signed to a 5-year, $45 million extension this summer. In today's NBA, with an ever-increasing salary cap, locking somebody like Aaron Wiggins down for the long term like that is critical to this team's success going forward. Aaron Wiggins will be on the books for multiple years to come with a depreciating contract over time. He'll be making less than $8 million in 5 seasons from now. 5 seasons from now, that contract arguably could be one of the most valuable contracts in the league, let alone on this team. Now on the court, Aaron Wiggins has proved time and time again to be a spark off the bench. He has proved to be one of the only players off the bench that can create for himself. He stepped in the Maverick series, game one, and was critical in securing that win, providing a good spark off the bench. Um, and for that reason, I think Aaron Wiggins is the most valuable player in this debate.
All right. Those were good points. You all let us know who you think won that debate. Now, without any biases to what our wheel landed on, who do you think is the most valuable player?
Alex Caruso is by far the most valuable player in that debate.
I agree. Now, both will be solid contributing role players that any team would love to have, but I think the defense just sets them apart. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
Alex Caruso is crafted for this team, I think. Like if you could pick the perfect player to fit next to Shea, Chet, and Dort, or Shea, Chet, and J-Dub and Dort, uh, then maybe Alex Caruso would be that player. Now, if Dort's in that starting five, I'm not sure. I think so, right? What do you think?
I would think it's Dort and Caruso starting with our 3 stars, but I could see a lot of different things happening. I could see Hartenstein getting the start with Chet, though I think it's more likely they would like to run those lineups of them together off the bench. So
Now, do you see that starting five option being starting uh starting Caruso and Dort, or starting maybe Caruso and Hartenstein, or Dort and Hartenstein? Do you see that being maybe a thing that could change depending on who we're playing, or do you think that we're going to try to have a kind of set starting five and have other teams adjust to us?
I think Mark will tend to just keep with whatever he chooses, unless for some reason that unit is just struggling together, which I don't foresee happening. I mean, we can see last year we kind of just stuck with the exact same five all year until we kind of got to our backs against the wall and we kind of had no choice but to switch something up in the playoffs. I think there were many matchups last year where it could have been advantageous to switch up different things in our starting lineup, but in the regular season we just kind of stuck with our five. And I think it would be more likely to switch things up if we were like in a playoff matchup where it's obvious that another lineup could be more effective. But regular season wise, I think we'll just stick with the five unless they're just obviously not doing well. But I don't really think that'll happen no matter what lineup we roll out there. And the thing about our team, I think everyone just kind of understands their role and they've made it known that they are just their number one goal is to help the team win, and those are the kind of guys you want on our team. And I think would be fine with a starting role, and anyone would be fine with a bench role, which is great. So, what do you think? You think we'll switch it up, or just kind of keep with one
Um,
unit?
I think we're experiencing a new level of versatility than we've ever had before. Like you mentioned, last season we were kind of stuck in the same problem, and we kept with the same way. Now I say we stuck with the same problem. We were a 57 win team, first seed in the Western Conference, so it clearly wasn't horrible. Um, but we were set in our starting five, and that really didn't change until playoff time.
Yeah.
This season, I foresee a little bit more. I mean, to echo kind of what I've heard from Mark and Sam, is they say that they're not married to a certain way of playing. Like they'll always kind of um, be malleable to what the game requires from them. And so I guess I could foresee if, maybe things aren't working like we might think that they will in this offseason, to kind of changing to address some of those needs. But if I were a betting man, I would say that the lineup on December 31st against the Timberwolves, starting lineup will probably be the same as it is opening night against the Nuggets. I I, I think that they'll figure that out in camp.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. You want to move on to our next debate?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here's our wheel. And this spin will be my player. Okay. I will be arguing for J. Will.
That was a close one.
Jalen Williams. That was close. Okay. This will be your guy that you'll be arguing for. Here we go. Isaiah Hartenstein. All
Big
right.
man debate.
I'm really hoping for a Chet and Jang debate later on.
Yeah,
But
I hope on the Chet side of that.
all right, you want to kick us off with Isaiah Hartenstein?
I'll kick us off with Isaiah Hartenstein. All right, here we go. Isaiah Hartenstein is extremely valuable to this year's Thunder team. Last year, one of our biggest weaknesses was size. We were out rebounded by a considerable margin just about every single game. Um, we also kind of struggled with interior defense. Isaiah Hartenstein provides both rebounding and defense with an upside of passing. He can, like we talked about, he could be plugged into the starting lineup if we wanted to go big, or he can provide Chet with much needed relief. Last year we were horrible. I mean, in the playoffs and the regular season when Chet was off the court, uh, we struggled considerably with Jay Will as his immediate backup. Um, and Hartenstein will provide a huge boost off the bench, not only with his size, but with his passing and other intangibles that you just can't teach. He's one of the best uh, defenders, interior defenders in the league, much less at his uh as a role player. Like he's not the guy that's going to demand the ball in his hands all the time. He is going to just play his role, be solid, and provide some extremely needed relief to this team.
I like it. I like it. All right. Jalen Williams, J. Will. Um, he will be more valuable than Isaiah Hartenstein this upcoming season. While he may not be on the court as much, he may not be on the court as much as he has in past seasons because of just the depth of our team. I think he brings the vibes more than almost any player in the league. He's a great culture fit. He supports his teammates unlike anyone you ever see. He's always got a smile on his face and he's celebrating other people's successes. He's the best teammate you can have. Um, so I think just having a guy like that is just as valuable as having someone that can help your team on the court every day. He's also one of, I believe, two or three guys left in the NBA that wear the number 6, as it was retired by the whole league a few years ago. So he's one of the last couple guys that'll ever wear it. So that's fun. His rookie year, he led the entire league in drawn charges, which is insane. So that's a fun little valuable piece to have, that just a unique skill he's good at, the best at out of anyone in the world. Um, while he was in college, he wasn't a huge shooter, but he kind of surprised a lot of people by being a consistent three-point shooter in the league. Um, so yeah, I think Jay will be more valuable than Isaiah Hartenstein this season for the Thunder.
Love it. Good point.
All right. You ready for our next debate?
Unbiased though. Who you got?
Unbiased, I got Isaiah Hartenstein.
I'll,
But
I'll agree.
but I was
But
starting to convince myself a little bit there.
yeah, I like the approach that you took because it is true. He's like the best teammate in the league. So that's valuable to the team in ways that like on the court stuff can't be. So
Right. Okay. Let's bring our wheel back out. This will be, let's close that
my
ad.
player.
No free promo. Okay. This will be Keaton's player. All right, let's get Zhang. Come on. Isaiah Joe for Keaton.
Love it.
All right. And my player will be
Usman.
Kenrich Williams.
Oh my gosh, we are gonna get a Chet Jang debate next.
We will finish it off next with a Chet Jane debate. So, I got Kenrich Williams, you got Isaiah Joe. I can start us off this time. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, Kenrich Williams is a vet in the NBA. We got him in the Steven Adams trade in 2020. Um, he was just at first kind of seemed like a throw-in guy in that trade, and he's kind of like developed into a really solid role player and a veteran leader. Another great locker room guy. Great to have a mature presence that's kind of been around and can lead these younger guys in a lot of ways. And then on the court, I mean, they don't call him Kenny Hustle for nothing. He's on the ground a lot. He's a great defender. He's a good shooter. Can kind of do a little bit of everything. He's not the best at any one thing, but he can kind of give you a little bit of anything you may need to ask for. He is always ready. He may not play a lot. He may play one game, not play the next one, like we saw in the playoffs. But anytime his numbers call, he comes in and gives you a spark. I remember in that Mavericks series when he kind of wasn't playing, but he did play one game. I was like, I like what I see there. Like he gives us some needed defense, and he's kind of like a unique player that um in the fact that we don't have a lot of like big wings like him that can kind of match up with opposing players with similar builds. Like we don't have a lot of those kind of guys. So I think in a lot of certain matchups that could be a great piece to bring in. And yeah, he's just a great guy and provides a lot of valuable characteristics. So let's hear it.
All right, that's a good point. So Isaiah Joe is not only more valuable than Kenny Hustle, but he's also more valuable than just about anybody on the entire bench. Isaiah Joe has been a 40% three-point shooter these past two seasons on a team that really lacks good outside shooting. You saw in the Mavericks series, the Thunder struggled to even shoot above 35% from three. They struggled just about every single game knocking down deep balls. And Isaiah Joe is one of the most consistent players on the team with his outside shot. On top of this, he's not only just a effective three-point shooter on this team. He's one of the most effective three-point shooters in the league. I think he's deserved to be in the three-point contest a few of these years now, and he's just not really getting looked at by the league just because I think he plays in Oklahoma. On top of this, he proved to step into a big role in the playoffs that we hadn't really seen him in that much. He stepped into Giddy's starting role when we were struggling against the Mavericks, and he stepped up big time. He made a lot of deep balls. He was really the only person that could make a three. On top of this, he's a good guy. He's a good teammate, just like Kenny though. He fits into this team. He's a good culture guy. Uh, but also just like Aaron Wiggins, we just signed him to a really, really team-friendly deal. So he's going to be valuable not only for this team, but for the team here in 4 years when he's making considerably less than the average role player in the league. So he's super valuable, and that's why I think he's more valuable than Kenny.
All right, you brought some good points there. Let us know who you think won the debate. Unbiasedly, I'll go with Isaiah Joe, but
I will as well.
I mean, I'm glad that both of them are on our team. So next up, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Chet Jang debate. So this first spin will be my player, and then Keaton will get the other guy. So here we go.
Big money, big money, big money.
I mean, I hear this debated all the time nationally. So I got Jang. All right.
Wow.
And then we'll spin it for Keaton here.
Come on.
Oh.
Yes.
Keaton's gonna be arguing for Chet Holmgren. All right. You start us off.
Chet Holmgren is not only one of the best rookies that we've ever had in Oklahoma City. He is one of the best players we've ever had in Oklahoma City. That's not a rookie. He He's going into his second season, coming off of his rookie season, but before that he was injured. He had an incredible year, both defending the rim and on the offensive end. He has shown to develop a jump shot. He's been really effective uh, from deep. He has been an extremely well-rounded defender. He's on pace to be an all-star. Not necessarily next season. I mean, could be, but I would be flabbergasted if he wasn't an all-star at some point in his career. He also he finished second in rookie of the year voting. He's just an outstanding player, well-rounded. He does things that you just can't teach. He has a freakishly athletic build. He has shown to be able to put on some muscle since he's got to Oklahoma City in his first 2 years. He's been working with Chip and really developing a good work ethic as well as intangibles on the court. So for that reason, I think Chet Holmgren is more valuable than Usman Jang.
All right, I'll try to top that. Usman Jang he was not only one of the best second-year players the Thunder have ever had, he's one of the best players the Thunder have ever had. He does things that you just can't teach. He's on track to be an all-star. I'd be flabbergasted if he's not an all-star at some point in his career. Maybe not next season, but he just does everything you need a player to do. He was I don't know what he ranked in rookie of the year voting his rookie season, but I'm sure he got some thought when voters were voting. But yeah, he just has all the intangibles. He's just a guy anyone would love to have on their team, and he's a leader in every aspect of the game, on and off the court. So I think Usman Jang is more valuable than Chet Holmgren.
That was good.
Y'all
Now,
let us
unbiased.
know who won that and overall who had the better performance across all the debates today. Unbiasedly, I'll go with Chet Holmgren. Though it's very close.
Yeah, I'll go with Chet. That is close. I did like your nod to him getting some thought from voters.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
that was close.
I don't know about that, but I'm sure it's true. Okay. You want to move into our player rankings for today?
Yeah, before we do that, let's talk about Usman Jang for a second. What do you see for his role being in this season? It seems like from outside looking in that he could get left behind in this scenario where the Thunder are just too good for him.
Right. I mean, guys like that, it's just kind of unfortunate. Like, if he was a few years older and we got him when we were tanking, he would have gotten so much opportunity and gotten to develop at the NBA level and play every day. And we would have been able to put a lot more focus on his development. Not that we're not trying to develop him right now, but it's a lot more forced to be behind the scenes and in the G League than just getting him consistent NBA reps, which is the most valuable way to develop someone. Um, Now, our focus this year may shift to trying to get guys like Dylan Jones minutes and even guys that you would think would be a consistent part of our rotation won't be. So it's like Kenrich Williams may not play every day, like he has in years past, just because we're so deep now, and so it'll just be tough to get more looks at Usman Jang, and unless he's shown huge leaps and signs of improvement, then it may be a situation where we look and see if anyone that could give him more opportunity wants to acquire him at the trade deadline or something like that. Though I still believe that this was always the plan. We didn't expect him to be ready right away. We drafted him as a project, um, but and we expected him to take a few years to develop into a solid player, and took a risk because we didn't even know if he would become that at all. but we saw potential in him. But I think the fact that our team has progressed and become so good so fast, like this is we're we're better than we thought. Like even the team thought we would be at this point. And so because of that, he may get left behind and try to find another shooter for him just because we can't give him those reps that needed to develop someone like that. And even if he did make some improvements, it would still be hard to argue he's better than some of the guys that are consistently in our rotation. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think it's just an unfortunate circumstance. I think he was just drafted into a situation that he didn't really have the time to, get reps, like you said. Like he really needed to make the most of the reps that he was given because those were not unlimited. Like he got a certain amount of reps last season, not many in the on the Thunder. He got a lot with the Blue, but I mean, he's just got to make more of his opportunities when he's given them. And so I think this season will kind of be, his last chance. Okay, we're going to give you a few games here and there that you can go in and be a rotation player off the bench. Can you draw eyes to you when you're out there? Because right now I don't think he's drawing eyes in any good way. So I think this will kind of be his last go around. I don't see him getting at this rate. I don't really see him getting a extension with like the likes of Chet, J Dub, even J Will. Um, so we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, I don't think. Ironically, I did bet in the first episode that he would be here past the trade deadline.
Right.
So I'm hoping that that happens for the bet's sake. But it's hard for me to see the team not trying to just milk the value out of him while we still could. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, with that, we can move into our player rankings. I believe we've got 11 to get to today.
Yes. And similar to the last episode, these guys that we're going to cover today, um, they were kind of on the team for a short amount of time, most of them at least. This was another like tanking season, and so we just added some guys here and there to just give us some reps while we weren't trying to win. This was also during COVID, so some of these guys I'm sure were kind of COVID replacement players and stuff like that. So we're just kind of gonna move through them a little quicker, like we did last time. So we'll kind of go back and forth, just covering uh like one of us will take a player at a time and go through all the rankings on each player. So if you haven't been with us before, we rank each player on stats, impact on winning, personal opinion, longevity, and culture, scale 1 to 10 on each, and then that'll give us an average score. And by the end of all of this, we will have a complete comprehensive list on the greatest Thunder players of all time from best to worst. And so today we're going to start out with Tony Bradley. He was a vet in the NBA, but he got to play for us for 22 games that year, for 2020 to 2021. Um, he played 18 minutes a game, almost 9 points, scored or had 6 rebounds a game, shot 65% from the field. So, I mean, those aren't bad stats by any means. I'll give him a 5.5 here on stats. Well, that might be a little high. I'll give him a 4. No, looking compared to some of these other guys. But impact on winning, I mean, again, most of these guys won't have very high ratings here just because we were trying to lose. But I mean, he performed better than a lot of guys during this time. And I liked him as a guy. So 2.5 here. Personal opinion, he was fine. I respect vets in the league. Um, I'll give him a 5.5. Longevity, he was just with us those 22 games. Um, I'll give him a 1.5. And then culture, I'm sure any vet leadership they had during this time was valuable just because we had a lot of young guys, a lot of G League guys and stuff like that playing with us. And so I'll give him a 6 here.
Perfect. Next, we go to Charlie Brown Jr., who played a total of 9 games with us. He averaged 4.4 points, 1.9 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. Those stats aren't anything to write home about. Let's give him a 2.5. Uh, Impact on winning, a 2.5 as well. It's appropriate. Personal opinion, he kind of has a fun name. It's really the only opinion I have. He's a great free throw shooter, 90%. Let's go 5.5. Longevity, he played 9 games. That's worthy of a 1. And finally, culture. I don't think he was good or bad for the culture. Like, he wasn't really around long enough. Let's just go with a 5.
Okay. Those ratings gave Tony Bradley a 3.9 and Charlie Brown Jr. a 3.3. We'll move on to Moses Brown, a little bit more of a notable name here. He played 43 games with us that season, shot 54 from the field. In 21 minutes, he had almost 9 points and 9 rebounds, and a little over a block. So those are pretty good stats. I remember he had some monster games during his time with us. He had some games with 15 plus rebounds. He had some 7 block games at least, or something like that. And these stats here aren't bad. I'll give him a 4.5. And then impact on winning. I remember he helped us win some games we did not want to win. I'll give him a 3.5. I mean, he started at center a good amount. Um, Personal opinion, I liked him. I was sad that we traded him just because I thought he was a promising player that could be a part of our future. Um, and I'm glad he's had a few more contracts after he left us. So I'll give him a 6. Longevity, I'll give him a 2. And then culture, seemed fine. 5.5 here. That gives him a 4.3.
Yeah, I agree. Moses Brown was an awesome player in the short time that he was here. I definitely fell into the hype of him being the center of the future for us. So, um, Josh Hall, he was, I remember him just being an athletic monster. Like, he could jump out of the gym. And he was with us for 21 games. He scored 4.1 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Those stats are about Charlie Brown level. Let's go with a 2.5.
You see those shooting splits there? Those are great. 30% from the field, 10 from three.
Yeah, that's
Woof.
horrible. But he could jump. Um, Impact on winning, he didn't really have any. Uh, 2. Yeah, he was not awesome. Personal opinion, I didn't really like him all that much. Uh, I thought he was a little bit reckless. I thought he just was kind of an immature player overall. Like, I think maybe a 3 is where I've got him on my personal opinion. Longev Sorry, Josh, if you're a fan of the pod. Um, Longevity, let's go with a 1.5. Culture, let's go with a 4.5.
All right. And that puts him at a 2.7. Sorry, Josh. All right. Next up, we have George Hill. He only played 14 games with us. I think we didn't want to play him very much just because he was a solid player. And we didn't want him to help us win. He averaged 12 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 51 from the field and 39 from three. So those are solid stats. Which is probably why he didn't play that much after that. I'll give him a 5.5 for stats. Impact on winning, I'll give him a 4.5, just or maybe a 5, just because he helped us win when we didn't want to. So we kind of shut him down and didn't let him be a huge part of the team. Personal opinion, I like him. He's always been a fun guy to watch throughout his NBA career. He had a long career. It was fun to see him on those Pacers teams with Paul George and Jordan Hill and Solomon Hill, all the Hills. And he was on those Cavs teams with LeBron. So I've always liked him. I'll give him a 6.5. Um, and then longevity, I mean, not his fault, but I'll give him a 1. He didn't play much. Culture, I'm gonna give him a 7 here just because it was again probably valuable for a lot of those guys to be around a guy in the locker room that had a lot of NBA experience and could give them advice. And he just accepted the position that the team was in, even though he wasn't used to being in a kind of role like that. And so I respect him. So next up,
Yeah,
Al Horford.
I thought George Hill was really awesome
Yeah.
as well. He was definitely winning too much for us. Uh, Al Horford up next. He averaged 14.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 3.4 assists in his 28 games that he played. He shot 45% from the field and 37% from three. Those are pretty great stats. Let's give him a 6. His impact on winning, he was extremely impactful. We shut him down after 28 games because he was so impactful. Let's go with another 6. Personal opinion of Al. I love Al. I think he handled the situation uh, way better than anybody could have imagined. Like he really embraced that this was kind of a rehabilitation into getting him to, being now he's an NBA champion. So I think it all worked out for Al. And I think him being able to just be mature and handle a tough situation like he was in really boost my personal opinion. Let's give him a 8.5. I love
Wow.
Al.
Me too.
Longevity though, 28 games, that warrants a 1.5. Culture, I think he is extremely awesome for the culture. Let's go another 8.5.
Wow. Al Horford got a 6.1 there. I think that's a really fair ranking for him. And then George Hill got a 5. So I loved Al too. I mean, it was really awesome when he was here. I wish he got to be more of a part of the team when we were good. I mean, I remember there was speculation after the 2016 season that we were going to bring him in until Kevin Durant left. But I mean, that would have been awesome to have him be a part of that team with Russ and KD and what could have been. But it was fun to still have him be in the city for a little bit there and give some guys some vet leadership. So next up we have Justin Jackson. He just played that 1 year in 33 games, 16 and a half minutes a game, 7 points, 2 rebounds, shot 40 from the field and 30 from three. So didn't Justin Jackson have a game winner? Or am I remembering that wrong?
No, you're right. I think I can't remember who it was against, but I do believe he had a game winner.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give him a 3 on stats. That includes the game winner boost. Um, and I'll also give him a 3 on impact on winning, also including the game winner boost. I liked him. He was fun. He played more than some guys. Um, he, I mean, I think he was a guy that we actually wanted to give a shot to and see what he had. Um, I liked him in college with North Carolina. Um, he was he was fun. I'll give him a 6. And then longevity didn't play much at all. I'll give him a 1.5. And then culture, don't know a lot about how he was with the team, but I'll give him a 5. So that gives him a 3.7.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Darius Miller is another player that really didn't play for us much. 18 games. He averaged 4.1 points, 1.3 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. The best thing about him, and I do remember this from watching him, was how good of a three-point shooter he was. He was 40, nearly a 41% free throw shooter. Or sorry, three-point shooter. Oh, and 100% free throw shooter. I accidentally
Wow.
stumbled on his free throw stats. So
Well, 12 for 12.
yep, him and Xavier Simpson up there are 100 percenters.
Xavier, 5 for 5. Wow.
That's awesome. Well, he gets a 100% free throw boost. For sure. I don't know if he had a game winner, but no, his stats weren't really all that good. Maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Impact on winning really didn't have one. Let's go with a 2. Personal opinion of Darius, I really don't have one. Let's go with a 4. Longevity, a 1. Yeah. And then finally, culture. He was probably a fine culture guy. Let's give him a 5.
All right. That gives him a 2.9, which I think is fair. Next up, we have Svi Mikhailuk. I love Svi. He played 30 games in that season. In 23 minutes, he had a little over 10 points a game, 3 rebounds, shot 44 from the field, 33 from three. So I liked him in college at Kansas. It's been cool to see him carve out a NBA career for a decent amount of years now. He just got a ring with the Celtics, which was fun. I mean, he averaged 10, a little over 10 for us, so I'll give him a 3.5 on stats. And then impact on winning, I'm sure he impacted us more than a lot of guys did during that time, so I'll give him a 3.5 there as well. Personal opinion, I like him. It's been cool to see him throughout his career have some success. I rooted for him when he was here. I'll give him a 6.5. And then longevity, 1.5. Culture seems like a fine guy, has gotten along with a lot of teams. So um, give him a 6. So that gives him a 4.2.
Next, this is actually the first Thunder player that I really can't even picture. Justin Robinson, I just had to Google a picture of him so I could recall who it was. I briefly remember his time here, but I mean, you can't really blame me when he was only here for 9 games. Um, Same as Charlie Brown Jr., but I think I remember Charlie Brown because of his hair and his name. Um, but let's get into Justin Robinson. Justin Robinson played 9 games. He averaged 2.3 points, zero point 0.8 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. The stats really are not great at all. Let's go 1. Impact on winning, I'm also going to give him a 1. Personal opinion, since I can't even remember him, I'm going to be a little generous here and I'm going to go 3. Um, Longevity 1. Culture, he was probably a fine culture guy. Let's go 4.5.
Wow. 2.1 for Justin Robinson. Okay. Lastly, for today, we have Hamidou Diallo. This is the only guy that we're covering today that played more than one season. He played 3 for us and 129 games over those 3 seasons. Um, he played 17 minutes a game, 7 points a game, a little over 3 rebounds, shot 46 from the field and 26 from three. I mean, those are fine stats to have over a longer period of time. Um, for that reason, I'm going to give him a 4 on stats. Impact on winning, I mean, for 2 of those seasons, we were trying to win, and he still averaged a good amount of minutes over that time. So he's the first player that has actually been on teams where we were attempting to win and actually made the playoffs there. So I'm going to give him a a 5 just because he was able to be in a winning rotation. Personal opinion, I liked him. I always rooted for him. I wanted him to be a solid piece of our future. I was a little disappointed when we let him go. He won the dunk contest, which was fun. We don't often see Thunder guys do that kind of stuff and especially win them. So he had some cool dunks there. I remember the teal jersey got some national attention there when he ripped it open, had the Superman underneath. So that was fun. I'm gonna give him a 7. And then longevity, let me see other guys that kind of had around the same amount of. Okay, I'm gonna give him a 5. And then culture always seemed like a great guy that was willing to accept his role and kind of be okay with anything. Seemed mature for his age. I'm gonna go with a 6.5. So that gives him a 5.5 overall. So that concludes today's um, rankings. So here, 1 second, I'm gonna put them in the order with our other players and kind of see where they fall. All right. So we have Al Horford at 12, right after Casey Wallace, and then Diallo at 13, right before Baisley. We have George Hill at 17 between Lindy and JRE. We have Moses Brown at 22 between Teo and Micic. We have Svi at 25 between Poku and Busy. And after Busy, we have Tony Bradley before Eugene. And then Justin Jackson's at 32 between Veet and Dario. Charlie Brown Jr. is at 36 between Sar and Bertans. Darius Miller's at 43 between Keontae and Paul Watson. After Paul Watson is Josh Hall, followed by Jared Butler. And then Justin Robinson's at 49 between Gabby Deck and Melvin Frazier. So a good group of guys there. By the way, I did update some of the longevity rankings before today's episode just to hopefully have a little more consistency since that's more of a concrete thing we can track. But yeah, I'm excited to continue this. That was fun to go over some of those guys. It's always good to reminisce on Thunder players of the past and kind of think about them. So I think it'll be fun once we have our complete rankings, and it's always fun to just kind of compare guys of one era to guys of another era. So, all right, you have any closing thoughts for today's episode?
Yeah, I think it's always good to see at the end of that exercise when you put the new players that we ranked today into the players that we'd ranked previously. I think it's a good reminder that we've done a good job when you see those players mixed in and you go, okay, like Baisley and Hami were about like the same in my opinion. So having them right next to each other, I think reaffirms that we're doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun
Um,
for sure. All
on
right.
top of that,
Yeah.
no additional thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, if you're following along, listening on Spotify, you might give our YouTube channel a try because on our YouTube channel, you can actually watch what we're doing and we share our screen a lot of the time so you can follow along visually as well as listening in.
Yeah. Go ahead and subscribe and follow on whatever platform you're listening on. Drop us some comments and check us out on Twitter at Talking Ball OKC. And we love to hear feedback from you guys. Spread the word about our podcast, and we're excited to get you guys another episode later this week.